Ever scrolled through a website and thought, ugh, this is hard to navigate? Even with perfect vision, it can be a pain. Now imagine facing those hurdles every day. Because for some, that's the reality of the digital world. And that's where ICT accessibility testers come in. Thinking about joining their ranks. Let's dive into RoleCatcher's guide and see what it takes to make technology work for everyone.
It's really about a fundamental shift in perspective. Instead of just assuming, that everyone sees and interacts with the web the same way, you're kind of stepping into the shoes of users with very diverse needs and abilities.
So more than just being techie, it's about empathy and problem solving.
Absolutely. RoleCatcher's guide really emphasizes that this role is about ensuring equal access to digital experiences. So that means websites, apps, software, anything you interact with online should be usable and enjoyable for everyone, no matter what disabilities they might have.
Okay, so you're like a digital detective uncovering those hidden barriers. What kinds of things are you looking for? Give me an example.
Imagine, imagine you're using a website that relies heavily on images for navigation, but you can't see the images. An ICT accessibility tester would be the one to point out that, hey, this site needs alternative text descriptions for those images, so people using screen readers can still understand what's on the page.
That's a great point. I never even thought about it that way. So it's about catching those little details. That could create huge roadblocks for some users.
Precisely. And those details can be very technical, like keyboard navigation for those who can't use a mouse, or design-related, like ensuring color contrast is high enough for visually impaired users. Yeah, it's a very multifaceted role.
Speaking of multifaceted, I was surprised to see that RoleCatcher lists reading comprehension as the most critical skill for this job, even above programming knowledge.
Yeah, that might seem a little counterintuitive at first, but think about it. You're going to be wading through mountains of documentation, right? Accessibility guidelines that are constantly evolving, technical specs, user feedback. Being able to quickly grasp that complex information, it's really crucial for success in this role.
So you're not just clicking buttons, you're analyzing, interpreting, and translating all this information into real-world solution.
Exactly, and then you need to communicate those solutions effectively. To the developers, the designers, the project managers, you're that bridge between the technical jargon and the actual user needs.
Wow. So it's like you're a translator of digital accessibility,
Yeah.
advocating for those who might not even know what they're missing out on.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And because we're often working on teams, those soft skills, communication, active listening, collaboration, those are your superpowers. You're bringing everyone together to create a better user experience for all.
All right, so we've established that this job is about much more than just, ticking boxes on a checklist.
Yeah.
What's it actually like on a day-to-day basis? Does RoleCatcher paint a picture of the work environment?
They do. They describe a typical setting as an office environment, although, you know, they do acknowledge that remote work is becoming more and more common these days, but either way, you can definitely expect a lot of collaboration, working closely with development teams to ensure that accessibility is, it's baked into the process right from the ground up.
Okay, so a good amount of teamwork involved.
Mhm.
But what about those moments when you're really in the zone, deep in the code, uncovering those hidden barriers?
Oh, there's definitely space for that focused analytical work too. You'll be conducting various tests, using assistive technologies yourself to really experience the product from different perspectives, documenting your findings. It's a very dynamic blend of technical skills and creative problem solving.
It sounds like it could involve some travel, too. RoleCatcher mentioned something about that. Tell me more.
Well, yeah, think about it. Conferences, client meetings, maybe even international projects that require, on-site testing. This field is global. And as you gain experience, you might find yourself engaging with a really diverse community of experts and users all around the world.
The international aspect is pretty cool. It sounds like a career path with a lot of potential geographically, but also in terms of, career growth and advancement. Speaking of which, what does RoleCatcher say about career progression for ICT accessibility testers?
Yeah, they actually outline a pretty clear ladder you can climb. So you might start with, those hands-on testing tasks. But as you gain experience, you could move into project management roles. They even highlight specializations like training new testers, advocating for policy changes, or even consulting for organizations that are, looking to improve their accessibility.
So you could go from identifying those hidden barriers to actually leading a whole team focused on breaking them down, or even shaping industry standards for a more inclusive digital world.
Exactly. And because this field is still relatively new, there's just a lot of room for shaping its future. RoleCatcher mentions senior roles like team leader or project manager, but honestly, The possibilities feel pretty open-ended right now, which is exciting.
It's like you're not just choosing a job,
Yeah.
you're getting in on the ground floor of a movement.
Mhm.
And the demand for this expertise, I imagine it's only going to increase.
Right. RoleCatcher really emphasized the high demand for skilled accessibility testers. And it makes sense when you think about it. Almost every company nowadays has some kind of online presence, right? They need websites, apps, software, and all of those need to be usable by everyone.
It's almost like you have uh, guaranteed job security. If you're good at what you do, that is...
It's certainly a field with a very bright future.
Now, you mentioned earlier that this is about more than just technical skills. RoleCatcher uses the term user-centered design a lot. Can you unpack that a bit? What does that mean, and how does it relate to this role?
Yeah, for sure. It's a really crucial concept, user-centered design, or UCD. It basically means that when you're creating any digital product, the needs and experiences of the end users, those are the top priority. You're constantly thinking about things like, okay, how will someone with a visual impairment use this? Or what if someone can only navigate with a keyboard? It's about designing with users in mind, not just for some, like imagined average user who,
hmm
might not even actually exist.
And that's where ICT Accessibility Testers come in.
Exactly. They provide that crucial user perspective.
Oh.
Throughout the entire development process, they're the ones flagging potential barriers, suggesting alternative solutions, and just really ensuring that accessibility isn't an afterthought, but it's woven into the very fabric of the product.
So they're not just testing a finished product. They're
Yeah.
actively involved in shaping it from the very beginning.
Precisely. It's a much more collaborative and proactive role than many people might realize. It's
Yeah.
about making technology that works for everyone by design, not by accident.
I've noticed that RoleCatcher seems pretty passionate about this topic. It's
Yeah.
like it's a core value for them, not just another career path they're describing in their database.
Yeah. You're picking up on something really important there. They actually mention their own commitment to accessibility within the guide. They specifically state that their platform is designed to be usable by everyone.
Oh, wow. So they're walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Yeah, it's really impressive. It shows that they're not just telling other companies to prioritize accessibility. They're really embodying those values in their own work.
And that brings us to, I think, a bigger question for you.
Mhm.
As someone who's exploring this field, it's great to consider a career as an ICT accessibility tester. But how can you, embody this mission in all areas of your life?
Yeah.
How can you be a champion for digital inclusion?
Yeah.
Even beyond just the workplace.
That's a really powerful question to consider.
It's like that ripple effect, right? If we're really thinking about user-centered design, it can't just be a 9-to-5 thing.
Exactly. It's about cultivating that mindset of inclusivity and, you can start by just looking at your own online presence. Is your website easy to navigate for someone with a visual impairment? Are the videos you share captioned for those who are deaf or hard of hearing? These might seem like small things, but they can make a world of difference to someone else.
It's about raising the bar for accessibility everywhere, even in those, seemingly insignificant interactions, because they all add up.
Precisely. And you can use your voice to advocate for change, too. Support organizations that are pushing for inclusive design. Start conversations with your friends, your colleagues, just about digital accessibility in general. The more awareness we raise, the more we can push for a web that truly works for everyone.
Because ultimately, it's not about special needs or anything like that. It's about recognizing that we all benefit from a more accessible world.
Absolutely. Imagine a world where technology is truly a tool for connection and empowerment for everyone, regardless of, any perceived limitations. That's the future we're striving for.
It's an inspiring vision, and it sounds like ICT accessibility testers, they're really on the front lines of making that a reality.
They are. And the best part is, it's a field that's constantly evolving, so there's always something new to learn, new challenges to tackle, and just new ways to make a difference.
Well, we've certainly given you a lot to think about today. Exploring a career as an ICT accessibility tester, it's clearly about so much more than just a job, right? It's about being part of a movement towards a more inclusive digital future.
It really...
And that journey, it all starts with a single step.
That's right.
Start by learning more about this amazing and growing field. RoleCatcher's full career guide is a fantastic resource. It's packed with insights, tips for landing that dream job. They've even got AI-powered tools to support you along the way.
Definitely check it out.
Don't just take our word for it. Dive in and see for yourself. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one designing a more accessible tomorrow. Until next time, Keep exploring, keep questioning,
Ah.
and we'll catch you on the flip side.